year. This is the main event. Mark's podcast, brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Radio Network and the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I'm your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and cat dad. I am Troy, and with me as always, he is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia, the main event collector, and the John Madden to my Al Michaels. He is Greg. What's up, Greg?
Boom.
Yeah, we recorded last week's episode early, so if anybody doesn't know, the news broke about, and I realize this isn't a football podcast, but I mean this is big. If you're a gamer, you've ever played a Madden game, which most people have, John Madden meant something to you growing up. So Greg is a Raider fan, so he means extra to Greg.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah, and he unexpectedly passed away. It was Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the news broke on Tuesday. We already had the show in the can, so and it was long enough. We couldn't do justice to anything talking about John Madden last week anyway, so we saved it for.
Yeah, it's on week. Every single thing you see too, dude. Like I saw it on like comic book resources, and video. Obviously the video game ones, you know why, but
right.
Like even wrestling was tweeting about it. It's insane.
Well, as soon as I opened up Peacock, they had like I think it's a documentary or something about him right there on Peacock.
Yeah, they do on Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it had it on Christmas, and then he passed away. It was almost like his eulogy or something. It's horrible.
That stuff happens quite often, oddly enough, where it's like they get one more, it's like a big interview or a big movie, and then they die. It's like, wow, that was weird. Like you said, almost like it's meant to happen. He obviously did a lot in his life. You're a big sports fan. I watch it here and there, but I've always played the Madden games growing up, so it's a big thing to a lot of people, John Madden passing away.
He made sure to get Tom Brady on his last cover. People don't know he loved Tom Brady.
But all right, time to talk about some wrestling, man. Getting out of the football stuff here. But this year, we're going to take a stroll down memory lane throughout the new year of 2022. We're going back 15 years in the past to 2007 in TNA. You and I have talked about that this is one of our favorite years in TNA history, maybe one of their best
I think
ever.
I personally think this is their best year.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to argue. I know a lot of people will, the LOL TNA crowd, but those are the ones
still going.
Yeah, I mean, those are the ones though that it's like TNA could have had like a perfectly put together show, and they still would have been like, whatever, they suck, they're minor leagues and whatever else. Oh, look at those old guys and blah blah blah. So, it was the same kind of arguments all the time, but I always liked them. You and I became friends and bonded over liking TNA back in the day, so this was good to go back and watch this.
Yeah, we bonded over wrestling too.
Wow. And not to give away, everything at the beginning of the show here, but just saying, it's like this isn't one of them where it's like you would call your friends and be like, "Oh my God, dude, you have to order the replay." Like this was just it was great, but it was a really good show. You and I, at least in our opinion. So we enjoyed watching.
I might say that about Final Resolution 05.
I forget 05. What was?
That was that old. What stands out to me is the Ultimate X match with Styles and Petey Williams and Chris Sabin.
Ah, okay, I gotcha.
Sabin almost kills AJ Styles. The tag match with AMW and Team Canada was awesome.
Yeah.
Main event was okay. It's kind of forgettable, but
and
it was
then
good.
2 years after that, now we've got AMW broken up, and Chris Harris isn't on the show, but James Storm is. We'll talk about that when we get to
this is 2007. Is he Braden Walker? Or is he about to be? I can't remember the year.
Well, no, this was, and I might be conflated because I always think things went way longer than they actually did when I, because you and I have talked about things and you're like, oh no, that only lasted 2 months or something. I'm like, really? I felt like it went on for a year. So I don't know.
Not to give away our one of our shows coming up. We're doing the NWO show, right?
Yeah.
That didn't last too long either. It's almost like you're tying that in with that.
Yeah, right. So stay tuned.
But yeah, so it's some of these just don't last long. Also, Harris didn't go to WWE until 2008, so I was wrong on that.
Yeah, okay. So all right, so it was about exactly a year, just about, with his run as a singles dude here. So, and I enjoyed it. I thought he was going to be the breakout star of the team. Not saying that, like, I thought Storm was going to be like a big deal, but I thought Chris Harris was going to be a bigger deal. Boy, was I wrong.
Oh, he did get that huge moment where he stood on the ramp with his hands on his hips.
Yeah, and he told Armando Estrada he was going to bash his brains in. So there's that.
We're going to take a time out to let you know that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Fanatics. Get all of your officially licensed sports gear with Fanatics at fanatics.com. You can click that link down in the podcast description, and when you go to checkout, let them know that the Main Event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Radio Network sent you. Also, we're sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. They are clean energy drinks and focus enhancers, great tasting vitamins and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. Go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENTMARKS. That's all one word, no spaces, for 15% off of your order. Also, I want to direct everybody to our Linktree account. That is linktr.ee/main event marks. On our Linktree, you can see all of our social media links, the links to our swag shacks, that is our Redbubble and Bonfire stores, where you can get all the latest and greatest merch for the podcast. You can also see all the links to our YouTube and everywhere that you can hear the podcast right there on our Linktree account. You can see our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts as well. So check that out on linktr.ee/main event marks.
We're going to take our first break now. When we come back, we're going to dive into the news and notes from early January of 2007.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/main event marks pod, on Twitter at main event_marks, and on Instagram at main event_marks and at main event collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our Linktree at linktr.ee/main event marks.
And we're back. Make sure to check us out on our Linktree. It's linktr.ee/main event marks. There you can get all the links to the podcast, social media, YouTube, and our Swag Shacks /merchandise stores. Right there, it's linktr.ee/main event marks. But all right, time to get into the news and notes here. First story, this will play into the pay-per-view. I'm starting off with TNA, by the way, before
Hell yeah, that's why I start my mornings off.
That's the best part of waking up is boobies in your cup.
What the hell?
What?
Isn't that kind of oxymoronic, boobies in cup? Anyway, move on.
All right. But this one plays into the pay-per-view here. Konnan got his hip replacement surgery in Monterrey, Mexico. According to reports, the surgery was a success, and he will remain in Monterey for the next week, as they don't want him to be flying at the moment. Konnan has lost 35 pounds from dialysis and dieting within a week. TNA management, particularly the Carters, have been calling Konnan almost every day to check up on his condition and how he's feeling.
Okay, I didn't know this, but that explains a lot, because he would literally come out at like the speed of snail behind LAX, wouldn't do much, and I did notice he got smaller. But he always wore like the, and I can say this because my dad dressed like this sometimes, half Mexican. He always wore like the typical Mexican look with like a khakis, an oversized shirt, or checkered coat or something. So like you couldn't tell he was getting smaller from that, because it would obviously make him like bigger, like looking. But when I saw pictures of him, he was clearly smaller. And now that you say that, now I get it.
They said after this he had to go on a very specific diet for a little while. There were certain things he couldn't eat, and it was basically anything that if you're looking to keep weight on or build up muscle or anything, you can't eat it. So he had a very strict diet, and I guess, he just dropped a bunch of weight. He wasn't allowed to lift weights for the longest time because of the hip replacement. So, I will say,
to my knowledge, he never competed again in TNA, or like at all, like from my knowledge. I mean, maybe he did. I didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah, he was in a battle royal, sort of, I guess, at a Triple Mania a couple of years ago. But he just basically came out, talked crap on the mic, and sat in the corner. And then I think he like took a very light bump over the top rope and then left.
So every legend ever that returns in the Royal Rumble.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. That's all you had to say.
Yeah, right. They just want a magic moment of
like when Diesel returns for 10 seconds, or when The Godfather came out, Yep.
It's a payday.
I didn't see it, but I guarantee you that place went crazy when he came out.
Oh yeah. Well, he was a big heel at the time, and what they were.
I don't think it matters for him there, though. I feel like they just cheer him no matter what.
Yeah. Well, he came out in a Donald Trump T-shirt, like it was like hand painted, whatever his own design, and
that'll do it.
Yep. And he was talking crap, but because his whole thing at the time, he was like, my boy Donald Trump was right about all you fools, keep you over the wall and whatever. And he comes out doing that whole shtick, and he had something offensive written on the back of the shirt too. And so he's doing his heel thing, and then Vampiro comes out, and the crowd just blows. And so they get the whole him and Vampiro in the ring together thing.
Play my damn music.
Yeah. And Vampiro.
People need to watch that. We'll explain that another time, but there's the reason I do that.
Yes. Yeah. I think we've talked about it on podcast. Anybody look up Vampiro? I can't remember which Triple Mania it was, but
it's just put Triple Mania botches, and it's like a 30-minute video. And Matt Striker's on the call. I don't know who he did them all, so that might be what would give away which one it was. I feel like it was like 3 years ago.
I think he does most of them. I believe it's either him or I think Kevin Kelly might do some of them. I don't remember.
If you don't like Kevin Kelly,
please die.
Real quote, folks.
Yep, from Uncle Dave. TNA is no longer pursuing a Kurt Angle versus Bob Sapp program. Sapp.
If there's ever a time to say thank God, this is it.
Yeah, right. Why? Why didn't this happen? Why? Whatever. But Sapp is currently going through some complicated contract issues with K1 in Japan. Isn't that kickboxing?
I believe so. If you've ever seen Sapp fights, it's not like he does many takedowns. So not that he's geared for fighting at all, but going off that, he's probably more geared towards kickboxing.
Yeah, he's just a big old dude who will stand and, throw hands with you, basically. Well, yeah, basically. But, yeah.
Broken my nose.
I love little Michael. Anyway, TNA is expected to have a taped edition of Impact air on February 12th, which is the Monday night where WWE Raw is preempted by the Westminster Dog Show. TNA would
that
then
was still a thing?
I know. I was shocked. TNA would
when I was a kid, I used to get pissed when they preempted it for that in tennis. Oh, that would ruin my whole week.
Oh, I know. I thought that was because this is when they came back, isn't it?
Yeah, this is 2007. Yeah, they've been back for 2 years now at this point.
Yeah. So
this is January 2007?
Yeah.
A year and a couple of months. So yeah.
I thought that was a big thing in in their contract negotiations was like we're not going to be preempted anymore by a stupid dog show.
Yeah, because now they move it over to Sci-Fi or one of the other NBC networks on that Monday.
Yeah,
like it'll be airing live, and then come 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock here, whatever time zones, it would cut over, and it's like a little thing, a ticker on the bottom says to continue watching this, go to MSNBC or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, because I believe Bruce Pritchard talked about that they, because USA really wanted them back, and one of their bargaining chips was they were like, we're not going to be preempted on Mondays anymore. You're going to play us live. So I don't know. I don't think this ever happened.
Workarounds back in the day too is they put Raw randomly on a Thursday or a Friday once, and then there was even a Saturday. So
I don't know. So either way, it's claiming that Impact will air live not live, but it will air on a Monday and then re-air on Thursday. I don't think that ever happened.
I think it did. I feel like I remember watching it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it did. Maybe I stand corrected. I don't think know.
It did. I feel like I vaguely remember that happening.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I got nothing to watch on Thursday now. That sounds like something I would say. So.
Yeah, right. Huh. Well, this one, he's not quite in TNA yet, but oh my gosh, this just it's ridiculous.
Wow, this Hulk Hogan, great introduction. This is going to be good, folks.
Yeah.
You don't even want to get this one out.
Yep. Hashtag stay tuned. All right. Well, Hulk Hogan made an appearance on the Bubba the Love Sponge radio show.
Oh, God. Can I already see it? Now hold on. I'm sorry. Now I see why you were stuttering. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, he took a phone call from Vince McMahon's secretary, Ann Russo, real name, live on the air. Russo was calling Hogan to let him know about the candidates for this year's WWE Hall of Fame ceremony and wanted to know who he thought should be inducted. Russo, who had no idea that she was on the air at the time, read off the names of the candidates for the Hall of Fame. In what was described as a very funny moment during the show, I'm sure, when Russo was told that she was live on the air, then she sounded shocked and noted that she would be getting into trouble for saying the names for the public to hear. Hogan then left the studio to take a call from Vince McMahon himself, with it later being known that McMahon was not very happy about the names going over the air the way they did. You don't say.
I feel like I don't even have a memory of that.
Yeah. Well, it's how
Who was the 2007 Hall of Fame? Let's see. So the Hall of Fame names were Dusty Rhodes, Mr. Perfect, Jerry Lawler, Nick Bockwinkel, Mr. Fuji, the Iron Sheik, and Jim Ross. That was one of the rare ones where every single person deserved to go in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and the Wild Samoans.
Wow, yeah. They're Roman Reigns' dad and uncle. But, yeah, so that's pretty freaking dirty on the part of Hulk Hogan. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Bubba the Love Sponge, but seriously, he's going to put this poor woman on the spot.
It's like, at the same time, who cares who's for the Hall of Fame? It's like, it's already iffy as it is, like, it's legit.
Yeah, well.
Now, that with the NFL, they'd be pretty pissed, because it reveals the whole thing, a whole big episode or something.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, it's like he's putting this woman on the spot. Obviously she's like, well, crap. This is really bad for me. It's like she could have been, punished for that by her employer. Like, that's pretty effed up, in my opinion. This one, getting into the WWE stuff. This one's more rumor and innuendo, I guess, but we'll play it out. According to Dave Scherer of Wrestling Inc., the main culprits in the recent killed push for CM Punk are WWE agents Arn Anderson and Fit Finlay. Punk is currently in the doghouse as he disagreed with the layout of the Extreme Elimination Chamber. With Arn Anderson... Get it out. Go ahead.
That garbage. I'm gonna leave it alone. Well, yeah, you're upset with the layout. Well, I'm upset with the whole pay-per-view. So.
Yep. Yeah, the whole thing sucked, which plays into the story actually. But anyway, Arn Anderson and Michael Hayes were the producers who laid it out. For last week's ECW TV, Dave Lagana had written that Punk should get Hardcore Holly in the Anaconda Vice, and Holly should turn over, grab the ropes, and pin Punk. In the production meeting, when the TV was being put together, the whole room turned on Punk when Lagana told them his idea. Arn Anderson especially was against him, saying that Holly should make Punk pay his dues because he's, quote, just a Heyman guy and not any good. So Holly shouldn't need to cheat to pin him. Anderson also said that Punk was only over because Heyman fluked it and it shouldn't be happening. Punk was personally told by Anderson that, quote, after 14 years of being on WWE television, Holly is a bigger star. As an explanation as to why the heel should pin the babyface clean, the actual finish was come up with by Finlay.
Okay, this is the guy that started out as Sparky Plug, by the way, and he's a bigger star.
Yeah. Well, he's
Look,
been on
I'm
TV
sorry,
longer.
this is not funny, but like he's only famous at this point for Brock Lesnar breaking his neck.
Yeah, right.
I'm not trying to be funny, but
Well, and Mick Foley immortalizing him in his novels. So there's that.
and the Major Brothers, immortalizing with the whole thing sucked, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I stand correct. There's a couple reasons he's famous, but still very loose on the word famous. But
Yep. Well, it's like, really? I wonder if Anderson still feels the same way about Punk and AEW.
makes you wonder if any of that. Did CM Punk say this, by the way?
I don't know if he came out and said any of this.
Okay, because then that's where it gets iffy. Did he say it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I was prefacing by saying it's rumor and innuendo. So I don't know. Could happen. Could be bullcrap. You never know.
Freaking Red Rooster, man. He wasn't even there.
What the hell? While nothing has been confirmed yet, Vince McMahon has reportedly mentioned names such as Mick Foley and Chris Jericho in some recent discussions about a special appearance at WrestleMania 23 this year in Detroit. At one point, a Vince McMahon versus Mick Foley angle was planned to start soon to take place at WrestleMania, but talk of that has said to have died down.
Because I got another idea that was huge.
Huge. Big league.
Foley he'd be on TV during WrestleMania. He teased being at WrestleMania. He was never at WrestleMania. He was for the ECW versus the New Breed.
Oh, yeah.
He teased being there, and he said he was going to sit in the skybox and watch it. They never showed him on the show. So there's that.
Huh. Was it 24, him and Edge?
It was 22.
22. Okay, so the year before this. All right.
Yeah, so it's like 9 months prior to this. Give or take.
Okay. And Jericho wasn't here, was he?
No, he hasn't even returned until Survivor Series this year.
Okay, yeah, because I think this was around the time when we were speculating that he was going to pop up in TNA. Because he'd been gone.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be where Angle debuted. It was between him and Benoit too.
I still held out hope even after Angle popped up. I was like, man, maybe Jericho will show up now because they got.
And
Starr.
then they used the song for Bound for Glory, one of them, and
yeah, was it Enemy?
It wasn't, which WWE had used for a No Way Out pay-per-view, but and he still didn't show up.
Yeah, I know. Well, speaking of WrestleMania 23, the word now is that Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump's Battle of the Billionaires angle will now culminate at WrestleMania 23 and not at the Rumble. The deal is done. Yeah, the deal is done, and Trump should be making some appearances on Raw soon to further the angle. He did. Biggest
no one
ratings.
dropped any rumor on who was going to be in it?
I didn't see anything about that. I don't think those had heated up quite yet. Well, when he was on Raw, Greg, biggest ratings in all of Raw history, biggest shows ever, huge ratings. Okay,
I do think this is still their most bought WrestleMania, though. I could be wrong on that, but I think Rock and Cena might have blew it out of the water. Never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Rock and Cena. Well, and the thing was, they said it's not really fair because Rock and Cena blew it out of the water, and then they just blew up the entire pay-per-view model, so it can never be beaten ever. But I see the point on that, but at the same time, it was inevitable. Look at where we are now. Hitting streams. Yeah. Come on, it was inevitable. And nowadays it's it's 2 nights, and they might be switching back to one night after this year.
I don't think so. I think this would be the tell to me that it's staying 2 nights.
Yeah, I mean,
look, as a person who I try to go to all of them, haven't been able to because of a stupid virus, but I'm okay with it being 2 nights because I'd rather not sit there for 6 straight hours. I'd rather split it up. So
yeah, what was the last one in New York? Was that 34?
35.
35. Okay. Yeah, 35. That one, like, I heard multiple people complain because they were like, it was a decent show, but they were like, man, by the end of it, it was so long. And then, like, if supposedly New York had or New Jersey one, whichever one, was supposed to set it up with public transportation where they would stay open later.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't happen. So
Good Lord.
Nobody got out of there.
I damn near got pneumonia standing in the rain, waiting for an Uber for 3 hours.
3 hours? Holy crap!
You can't get out of there unless it's on a train. You're surrounded by freeways.
Oh man,
and
that sucks.
So we had to wait like 3 hours for the Uber almost, and then like from MetLife back to I think we were staying in like by Queens, the same place you and I stayed for SummerSlam, exact same hotel, which was in Queens City, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
And it took like $120 to get there.
Mother of God, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I heard so many horror stories, and
I attest they are all true.
Yeah, it was the transportation, it was the weather. But anyway, this one is kind of funny. You're probably not going to know who this guy is, but I'll see. Several gossip websites have picked up on hip-hop artist The Game, real name Jason Taylor, wanting to fight Triple H over the rights to his name.
I remember this.
The Game
Not
claims
wrestling. I think I saw it on like a TV show or something. I don't watch those things, but like if it's ever on, I happen to see it.
I want to say he was in one of those Def Jam video games.
Probably was.
I think so. But The Game claims that he used the name longer. However, Triple H has been associated with the name since the summer of '99. The Game said, quote, "He's on TV wrestling and it's pretend, made up. I wrestle in real life and I win." End quote. To which everybody goes, what? You're a rapper.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah. Like, okay, around this time, The Game was a big name in the rap scene, but I just like, for God's sake, obviously nothing came out of this. So.
Darn, I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure Triple H was like, who? Speaking of Triple
H. Is it Ice Cube with that meme that just says who? Or is it Snoop Dogg?
Oh, it's Snoop. Yeah.
Who?
Basically. But speaking of Triple H, he has begun rehabilitation in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
And he will continue for the next 3 weeks before he returns home to continue with his physical therapy. The current prognosis is that he should be walking again in 6 weeks and will miss anywhere between 4 to 6 months.
He misses more than that. He comes back. This is 7 months.
Does he come back at SummerSlam?
Mm-hmm. Against Booker T, I want to say.
Oh, this is the one. Okay. Yeah, I remember that one. I watched it at Buffalo Wild Wings, and everybody in the restaurant like blew up for that. Yeah,
I was at Great American Bash this year. It was in San Jose.
Sorry.
It was not that bad. This is actually one of the more tolerable ones. But they aired that promo, and like I lost my crap, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah. WWE is currently in the early stages of trying to put together a new Hart Foundation. The current idea would see it comprised of Harry Smith, Natalie Neidhart, Teddy Hart, and TJ Wilson. Well, I mean,
yeah, you know what? 3 out of 75%. That's a C+. Good job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Teddy Hart would never. I take that. I was going to say he would never compete in the WWE ever. He was on Velocity in the past. I forgot about that.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I forgot to check Twitter today. Is Teddy Hart in jail?
Oh, my gosh.
That is a real thing, folks.
Yeah. Big update. No. Speaking of coming into the WWE, though, Monty Brown is currently scheduled to be a heel when he debuts in the WWE.
Oh, man. Just call him smooth, dude.
I hope he got paid well for this. That's all I can say. I was
like ready, man. I was like, he's going to be something big. Like,
I
I really felt like he was going to be the first Black WWE champion. I really did.
I was disappointed when he left TNA just because he was such a big deal there as a main eventer and everything, and I thought he was great. But then I was like, all right, well, I hope WWE does something good with him. But then they call him Marcus Corvan. He comes out to that god-awful theme song. He changes his finishing move. I'm like, what the hell, man? I don't know. And they put him on ECW. He sucked. But
to be fair, they were using that as like sort of their starting off developmental thing, so that one I can overlook.
Yeah.
But,
well, he wasn't long for this world. He ended up. Didn't he go? He dropped out of wrestling to go take care of like his nieces and nephews or something after.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think their parents died or something, so he took them in. Which good for him, man. That's not good that his family died, obviously, but it's good for him that he's able to do something like that, and he's willing to do something like that. He was great. It sucks.
Though we say this though, at the same time, something like TNA did anything with him either. He should have been champion there, I thought.
Yeah, I know. I felt like they were missing the boat with him. Give him a little while longer, I think he would have been champ.
Of course, as you know, he played in 2 Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills. Because if you didn't know that, they told you that 7,000 times a show.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, relic spelled backwards is killer, Greg.
Yes, I do.
Well, I
they
want to
told you
remind
that 8,000 times a show. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I call bull crap. That's Johnny the Bull.
Johnny the Bull crap. I like that. That's good.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't even think about that. Good catch. Speaking of bull crap.
Real quick, while we're on TNA, not to EA Debbie Downer, sorry. I just saw a tweet that Dawn West has cancer again.
Yeah, I saw that. Sad.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, all the prayers go out to him. That's rough. Didn't he just go into remission and?
Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Sucks. Yeah, hopefully he can get back out there selling better than Billy Mays in no time. I don't know. But Larry Zbyszko has contacted WWE in hopes of landing a Legends deal and a commentary gig. There's no word as of yet if Vince McMahon is interested. Spoiler. He's not.
He does go to the Hall of Fame in 2015, though.
Yeah,
he does get that Legends deal.
Yeah, it only took him, 8 years after this to put him in the Hall of Fame.
That was one of the better speeches I've ever heard the Hall of Fame. I was there, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in the Shark Tank. That was one of the better speeches I've ever heard at the Hall of Fame, ever.
Larry's always been good with his words, so I can imagine. I think I saw it. I can't remember I'm pretty sure I did. Just can't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, Larry was good. Sucks that he never really had.
You geeked out for him. We saw him in New Orleans.
I don't remember. But
you were literally standing right next to him while you were in line to meet Christian. He was like, you were in front of his table, like the line snaked around in front of his table.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I saw him. I walked right in front of Jerry Lawler's table. And oddly enough, he was sitting right next to the Hurricane. So I got to geek out a lot that time. This is a WWE
Hurricane's signing NXT this week.
Oh, really? Well, how about that? Well, this story is a WWE related story, but this first name is going to take me a minute to say because it's long. Nobuyuki Sakakibara, I guess, claims that the Pride meeting with WWE was about them using Umaga, Batista, and Undertaker in Pride's proposed super heavyweight tournament in 2007. However, there is slightly less than a 0% chance of that actually happening.
Who would have called that?
Yeah. Wait, did they honestly think Vince would be like, yeah, sure, I'm going to send 3 of my top guys over there to get their asses kicked in a real fight? Sure.
Well, you did the brawl for all.
Yeah. But that was all mostly mid-card guys, though. Still sucked, but this is
Coincidentally, Batista would go on to MMA.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, The Undertaker said if he didn't go into wrestling, he'd be a boxer / MMA fighter. So I don't know. And the last story here, this one is just to Brings back memories. Wrestling Society X on MTV is set to
Oh,
premiere.
God. Sorry.
I can't even get it out. But it's set to premiere on Tuesday, January 30th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, because all the greatest programming debuts on Tuesdays at 10:30 on MTV.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't this only
God,
like
you
a
and the
half hour?
sarcasm.
Wasn't this only a half-hour show, or was it a
I believe it was, yes. Coincidentally,
yeah.
I think, pretty sure, that one of the very first shows had Teddy Hart on it, which means he wasn't in jail at that time.
Yeah, right?
Wasn't
Yeah.
Waltman, like Sean Waltman, one of their biggest stars? And I use that loosely. And that's not
Yeah,
I love Sean Waltman, but,
they called him Six Pac, yeah. Wow.
That's like one episode of that. I'm like, yeah, this is garbage.
Yeah. Yep. It was crap. So, anyway.
Whole thing
All right.
sucked.
It did. Hey, Vampiro threw a fireball in somebody's face, so there's that.
Vampiro! Vampiro!
I think it was the first place we saw Judas Messias before he popped up in TNA.
First place you saw him, because I had no clue who the hell he was. You had to educate me on it, so yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he popped up in TNA, and I was like, oh, that's Ricky Banderas from Wrestling Society X, and you're like,
Yeah, I would have went with Judas
Sure.
Messias too. Okay.
yeah, right.
Ricky Banderas. That sounds like someone's losing on Saturday Morning Superstars.
Well, and now he's wrestling. He apparently got the rights to his name from Lucha Underground, so now he's wrestling as Mil Muertes all over the place where he wears a mask. So
That's some Mill murder? Death. Death. Mortis is
Yeah.
death, I believe.
it means 1,000 deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But
Cool.
anyway,
My Mexican ancestors are proud I got that one. Cool.
yeah, right. You're like something about death. That's all I know.
I wasn't sure if it was because the M threw me off. Is that murder? No, I think Mortis is death. Okay.
Yeah, and the mill is 1,000, I guess. So that's why Mil Mascaras means like 1,000 masks. So, but anyway, all right, that does it for the news and notes. You ready to get into the pay-per-view?
This one, actually, I am.
All right, well, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, it's Final Resolution time. Right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event_Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event_Marks and at Main Event Collector.
This message is brought to you by Belly Up Sports. No, just kidding. This is not an NWO promo. This is just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, the host of Here in Puckburg on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I have a hockey podcast where we talk about hockey fandom and the love of the game and where that leads you in this game we call life. Why am I on Main Event Marks telling you about this? Well, what if I told you I had one half of the world's greatest tag team, otherwise known as the Main Event Marks, the one and only Greg, Superfly Greg. He was on, and he was talking about his love of the game. So you might want to come over and check that episode out. And if you like what you hear, you can check out the rest of our incredible episodes with our incredible hockey community, from PHF athletes, ESPN personalities, fathers of NHL players, and a whole lot more. Come by, follow the show, give a like, give a subscribe, and it'd be great to have you here in Puckburg. But enough about me. Let's get back to what you're really here for, the Main Event Marks, because they are the cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we are back.
And we're back. Oh, real quick. I told you, I got bored when I wasn't feeling well, so I started binge watching some old episodes of Superstars. I messaged you that all those jobbers and stuff, which I still find funny.
Yeah.
I realized that I'm pretty sure Smart Mark, who I ripped this off from, got it from Vince McMahon saying, and we're back. Because I realized that's what he says after commercial.
Wow, really?
So when someone said I was ripping off someone else, I'm like, you might be right, but it was inadvertent. I thought it was giving an homage to Smart Mark Sterling. I did not know he took it from Vince McMahon. So.
Yeah, you're paying homage to an homage. So there you go.
Yeah, right.
But hey, it makes it even better. But This, ladies and gentlemen, is TNA Final Resolution 2007. The date, January 14th, 07, from the Impact Wrestling Zone in Orlando, Florida. And the attendance was only 900 people. So they didn't.
Which is a legit sellout. Is it?
Actually, no, legit sellout is 1,100. So they didn't even fill the soundstage for this one.
And we're being liberal with the word sellout, by the way, because they do not sell tickets to this, I believe.
According to Eric Bischoff, they just let people in. So if you got park tickets,
if you've been to Orlando or any Universal Studios, you know how the shows work. You just line up and they fill up the seats. So
yeah,
I highly recommend the Waterworld show if you ever go to the one in LA. Oh, it's amazing.
Waterworld? You mean like the movie with Kevin Costner?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
the show is epic, dude.
I can't believe they actually made a show out of these, out of that. It was
well, they used the good part. So
nice. All right, the pay-per-view buy rate for this, by the way, had 35,000 buys. Were you one of them?
I was.
There wasn't like
and
ripping
yes,
off.
I bought it. It was not nefarious before anyone thinks that.
I didn't watch pay-per-views at this time, and there wasn't a way, like in 07, like ripping off pay-per-views wasn't like common either. So it's not like even if I wanted to, I could have. So I didn't even know what the hell that was until I heard Dana White going on a rant about it, and then I had to look it up and people do this. Yeah, it's like, oh, how about that? But the opening package for this pay-per-view was great. This was around the time when they finally started doing really well on those opening packages, I feel like.
What was the name of that guy with the voice? I think he recently passed away. He's just so epic.
Yeah, right. They didn't use him for this promo, but yeah.
Right, but just every time I think of a TNA opening, I think of him. He's just...
Yeah, his voice was epic opening up the shows. The thing I didn't like was if you go back, like you and I have reviewed some shows from like 05 and early 06 and whatever. The opening packages for the shows, most of them kind of sucked because it was just like they played a song. It was like a long music video basically, and it's like, okay, you didn't really get anything out of it. But this one, they explained stuff. They put in like Muhammad Ali and just like a bunch of cool stuff, and I liked it. But anyway, speaking of
one more thing, though, I think one thing I always like to say, and some people might disagree, we're talking about epic voices. We're talking about Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones. This guy deserves to be in that conversation.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And it's just a major coincidence, by the way, that they're all black. By the way, it has nothing to do with that. But he deserves to be in that conversation. His voice is epic, and it can really get you fired up for a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, well, the way he could drop his voice and everything to that level and still keep up the excitement. Yeah, I mean, that is a talent.
I always loved how he had I think he had like a Muslim look, but I feel like that was part of his thing. You ever notice that he always had like a daishiki on? Maybe it was an African look. But yeah, it just added to it, I feel like. Almost like
not what I expected.
Right, almost like a preacher or something giving a sermon. It just looked so cool.
Yeah, he looked because normally when I think of like a guy in a sound booth, whatever, I think of some like button down, like wearing a suit and tie or whatever.
Or the guy in Page Roll 2. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But the first match of the night is AJ Styles versus Rhino. They call this a last man standing match. We'll get into it. It went 14 minutes 44 seconds. This may have been the first time AJ Styles ever wore tights instead of biker shorts.
I'm almost certain it was.
Yeah, because in all the play-up footage they show for this, he's wearing the biker shorts, and then he comes out here in the tights, and it's like, oh.
Did he get a groin injury by any chance? I feel like that's usually when guys switch to tights.
I don't know. I just noticed. I think he said in the past he just wanted to switch it up, but I could be wrong. Because he started.
I want to say it was Jericho that said when they wear trunks, it's getting a little weird, but he said like sometimes the cup won't stay in place and stuff happens. So he said when you have like longer tights on, it gives like there's no wiggle room.
Yeah, that's why if you see which Elimination Chamber was it where Triple H wore the half tights?
SummerSlam 03.
Okay, yeah, and he wore the half
tights
because he had right. So he wore those to they were compression shorts to keep everything in place. But I did say this is more of a Texas death match rather than a last man standing match because you have to score a pinfall or submission before the 10 count starts. So
right. I want to say this was TNA's version of Last Man Standing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, this is not a last man standing match. Why did you call it a last man standing match? But whatever. It was still good. I was confused by. At first, I thought Rhino messed up because I'm like, oh, he's going for a pinfall, and I was like, oh, no, you.
Yeah, Macho Man Royal Rumble 93 style.
Right. But the count only starts after you get a pinfall, like I said. In the end, Rhino hits 2 gores in a row, and he pins AJ. Then he goes to set up a table. AJ starts to stand up, mouths "screw you" to Rhino, and then sits back down to lose. Uncle Dave gave it 3 stars, as did I. I didn't really like the ending. What say you?
I gave it 2. It was fun, but yeah.
I thought it was a really damn good match. I thought this feud, because this went on for a while. I thought this feud.
Yeah, they're about to have that. They're about to have that Elevation X match in a couple of months.
Yeah. I just felt this feud was awkward, and this was another awkward thing to it. Like, what? It's like, I'll show you. I'm gonna lose on purpose. Like, okay.
I'm sure there was a reason for that, but it's not registering right now.
It was because they were like, oh well, he's living to fight another day because Rhino was gonna gore him again. Like, okay, if you had enough time to stand up and then sit back down, didn't you have enough time to like move out of the
hell
way?
out of the ring?
Yeah, like. It was so stupid. But this was Russo, so, there's that. After the match, right? Bro, he's going to sit back down and lose on purpose, bro. But after the match, Rhino grabs a mic and tells AJ that he may have lost, but he's still living, so Rhino's going to take him out tonight. AJ looks worried as he hobbles away. According to, and I mean, it was a small spot in the match, so I didn't really pay attention. But there's a part in the match where AJ goes for a springboard and Rhino kicks the top rope, and so he falls on his stomach on the top rope. AJ said, "quote It felt like my stomach came out of my ass." So apparently he really hurt himself during that spot, which is why he was hobbling so bad at the end. Anyway. We go to Mike Tenay and Don West for a little while, and then Rhino ends up dragging AJ Styles back onto the stage and hits a Rhino driver before propping up a table on the entrance tunnel. If nobody's seen it, imagine what AEW does now, but they only had one. When charging in for the gore, however, AJ Styles moves, and like an idiot, Rhino runs through the table, and AJ walks away scot-free. I got another one up on you.
Sorry, you said like an idiot and Rhino. I was like, it takes me back to ECW. It's kind of redundant, but whatever.
Wow. Well, he is from Michigan. Anyway.
Yeah, I love Rhino, by the way, before anyone gets mad at me for that.
I know. I met Rhino
one time.
one time. Super cool dude. Not what I expected at all. He was, super, super nice. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I didn't expect him to be a dick, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know what I expected, but this is not it. Anyway, backstage, Letitia Klein, who I forgot was a thing, and boy, was she a thing. But she's standing by with...
She was all the way live.
How roll tide was she, man? But she's standing by with Jerry Lynn. Lynn tries to convince us that he's not old. He's 43. It's not like he's,
And he just had a hit record, at this time, too.
Oh, my gosh. Shut up. It took me a second. I was like, oh my. But
that's Alex Shelley's fault, folks. He called that out.
Yeah, right. People don't know what we're talking about. He kind of looks like Chad Kruger from Nickelback.
It's Kroger, not Kruger.
I thought it was Kruger. Is it Kroger? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. One of them damn things.
Kruger.
Hey, either he's related to Freddie or he owns a chain of grocery stores out here in Ohio.
I would definitely take chain of stores.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so just to put this in perspective, Jerry Lynn here, he's going on about how, everybody says he's old and whatever, and he's 43. Okay. AJ Styles is 45, I think, right now.
Right?
He's 44. My bad. He's
Christopher
44.
Daniels is 88 years old. He still looks like that, by the way.
Right. It's that Dr. Evil medicine he's on. But yeah, so AJ Styles is 1 year older than him. Nobody's calling AJ old right now. So I don't know. But they keep pounding it home. It's not like, Jerry Lynn's getting ready to sit in his lazy boy, eat tapioca, and watch reruns of Matlock, okay?
No, there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, no, of course not. He says that he's going to teach both Chris Sabin and Christopher Daniels lessons tonight, and he's going to be the teacher, and they're going to be the students, and whatever. He's never been great on the mic. I'll just say that. But up next, we've got Christopher Daniels.
That's why he had Cyrus for a while in ECW.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's a great wrestler, not a good talker.
Yeah, and he's now in AEW, and I think we ever hear him talk, so that's a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah, he can just stand in the back and do his agenting and all that.
Oh, actually, you know what? I beg to differ. He did talk really well when he said, "My name is Jerry." That was money.
Yeah, right. He barfed his name out. Yeah, right. But this is a triple threat match. It is Christopher Daniels defending the X Division title against Chris Sabin and Jerry Lynn. This one went 11 minutes, 42 seconds. The always goofy as hell Slick Johnson is the referee for this one. Real name, Slick Johnson. In the end...
Not a coincidence, by the way. Sorry.
Bro, his name is going to be Slick Johnson. He's bald, bro. In the end, Jerry Lynn hit the cradle pile driver on Daniels, and then Sabin rolled Lynn up with a schoolboy for the win, so the champion didn't even lose. Uncle Dave gave it 3.25 stars. I gave it 3.5. What say you?
I actually gave it 4. I love this match.
Yeah, it was really damn good. Jerry Lynn could still hang in there.
He hobbled his old ass around, huh?
Right. And
also,
Daniels,
Chris Sabin, though, it's just like, man, he's so good. Like, he's still wrestling to this day, and as of this recording, he's getting ready to fight for the Ring of Honor title, which would be pretty cool. But he's still going. Yeah. He's still good, man.
He needs to get rid of that damn haircut, but yeah, he's damn good.
I feel like, to be fair, you can say that about any era of Chris Sabin, though. Do you remember that horrible long bowl cut hair he had early TNA?
Well, I thought the long red hair was okay, and then like the spiky blonde Super Saiyan hair was okay, but the long hair the hair he's went with the longest is the hairdo he has now, and he looks like his mom took him to Great Clips. Like it's horrible.
He didn't he have wasn't he with Velvet Sky at one point? I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters, dude. It's fine.
Yeah, I know.
This whole conversation needs to stop now because boom, lawyered.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure. Yeah, I've seen stuff online. Women fall all over him, but still, it's like, dang, really? Like, how can I take you seriously with that haircut, Greg? Anyway, backstage, Jeremy Borash is standing by with Kevin Nash in full I'm a 45-year-old dad look, appearing more like he's about to grill up a mean burger by the pool rather than he was a former world champion. Wow. I mean, seriously, look at him. The hair, he's basically got the Oz hair. He's got the striped polo. He's in jeans. I'm surprised he wasn't wearing flip-flops. Like, ugh. But Nash says he's got a special judge for tonight, and Bob Backlund walks up.
Oh, man. Sorry.
Yeah. Anytime I see Bob Backlund, I'm like, why are you here? But
because Nash beat him 8 seconds for the WWE title. We got to remember that.
Yeah, he's got to give him a payday. When he did the job for him back in MSG, he's like, listen, in about 12 years from now, you're going to owe me a favor. When I come to collect, just do it. All right?
Don't worry. It's nothing bad. Something weird. It's just it's stupid.
Well, I don't know about weird. I mean, it's definitely weird, but yeah. It's nothing sexual, and it's nothing it's nothing that's going to get you thrown in jail. Okay, it's just keep your voicemail open.
I'm almost sure, though, a part of this deal was Nash had to name every U.S. president and vice president in order. Apparently that's the thing with Bob Backlund.
Yeah, in reverse order. He wasn't doing the Stairmaster, though. Nash starts talking to Bob about them going up and down the road together, and every story he can think of, Bob was like, nope, wasn't there. And Nash says, must have been Scott Hall. Nash asks Backlund.
I was often confused those two. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, clearly, yeah. But, one's a former world champion, and the other's Scott Hall.
Pretty sure Backlund is like clean as a whistle, too, so there's that.
According to some, he can put that alcohol away. Apparently, he has a huge alcohol tolerance.
Well, I mean,
So,
not what I mean was not like
drugs-wise,
that.
yeah.
I just mean he's not messed up. So.
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't have any other than alcohol. He doesn't have any chemicals in him that I know of. Why? That would just take away from the gimmick. And he's crazy enough without him.
If you told me that man was on drugs when I seen some of these skits, by the way, I would have no problem believing you.
I'd be like, well, yeah, of course.
Tell me something I don't, dude.
Nash asks Backlund, asks if Backlund is up for the challenge, and Backlund asks if Nash puts Austin Starr and Alex Shelley through the proper torture of squats and sit-ups and whatever else. Nash says, well, we played limbo and drank until we puked, so, I mean, that's kind of torturous.
Dude, yeah.
Oh,
just
my
play
God.
the back real quick. Man, these skits were some of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
So effing stupid, but hilarious at the same time. I'm like,
the one
man.
that I still quote to this day because it just stuck with me was when they were doing the limbo. They hold hands and then you see Nash at sophomore in high school going steady style.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Sophomore in high school going steady style. I think it was Lethal and Sanjay Dutt, wasn't it? Or was it Alex? It was. It's in the package.
Lethal and Shelley.
Yeah.
Lethal and Shelley. I did Shelley said something about. It's like, yeah, I bet this would be a real inspirational story if a guy with gonorrhea won it, huh? like, what the hell?
Checking the shoes. Yep, right there. Bob Backlund approved. Nor authorized Bob.
How much fun do you think these guys had? Just they're like, we don't have to get beat up. We're having stupid, goofy time. We're getting paid. Well, why not?
And I feel like all of them probably legitimately love hanging out with Nash too. So
yeah, right.
That would have been the selling point for me alone.
Hell yeah, I get to party with Kevin Nash. You're damn right. But Backlund says that they may be in for a rough night. After Nash leaves, Borash tries to wrap it up, but Eric Young runs up to him and he says that JB promised to take him shopping. This is freaking weird. JB says that he can't do that right now. He's working. And EY looks at Backlund and he says, Mr. President, it's an honor. I voted for you in 95. Backlund says, the election was in 2000, son. And EY does the, EY does the I see you motion and then he runs away.
He literally entered the Royal Rumble when JR was putting over his campaign. Remember when he got eliminated?
Yeah.
He walks through the crowd. JR, because I think now in the archives, by the way, he says, hey, he's looking for New York registered or Connecticut registered voters.
Yeah, that was that. That was effing stupid. And I love, and you got to give EY a break. He's Canadian.
Sure.
So,
yeah. That's a little nuts too.
Oh well, yeah, but
mostly
he's Canadian. Oh well, yeah, even more nuts. Now he's got a beard.
Good. Yeah, alienate our Canadian listener.
After Kevin Nash comes out to sit on commentary for this one, they bring out the judges, Samoan Joe, which is an old white guy in a red Power Ranger mask.
God, you know what, bro? Stop real quick. I still want to kill you for sending me that picture the other day. You're getting to it though.
It's the second judge was the big fat oily guy who somehow manages to be even fatter, hairier, and uglier than Big Dick Johnson.
Real names, by the way. None of this is made up, folks.
Yeah, the big fat oily guy came about from the VKM skits, the Voodoo Kin Mafia stuff, because they were mocking how WWE kept bringing out Big Dick Johnson during all the DX stuff. So they bring out an even fatter guy. He almost looked like Ed Ferrara, but much fatter. Like if any of you can remember what he looked like. Oklahoma. Anyway, and obviously the third judge is Bob Backlund. But now we get the Paparazzi Championship Series finals. Went about 10 minutes, 18 seconds. It is Alex Shelley versus the Austin Starr. If anybody doesn't know.
Sorry, real quick. Did you catch, by the way, that Mike Tenay said, no, you've heard of the BCS. Well, this is the PCS.
Yeah. And then Don West, at the end of this, Don West was like, man, this, you think the BCS is bad. This one makes them look like geniuses.
It's another line that stuck with me. Oh, you've heard of the BCS? Like, yeah, because this is the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Screw all that. This is what Nick Saban's been aspiring for his whole life, to win this.
Of course. I will say the BCS was BS, so I'm glad that's been rectified in the recent years. But anyway, if anybody doesn't know, Austin Starr is Austin Aries. So
the Austin Starr.
Yes. In the end, Austin Starr.
You need to say that with conviction. You of all people.
I only say it for one thing and one thing only. All right.
Well, you're messing it up, but whatever.
Yeah. In the end, Austin Starr locks Alex Shelley in a camel clutch, but the time limit expires. Jeremy Borash collects the scorecards and reads them. Tamale and Joe gave the match to Starr. Big fat oily guy gives the match to Shelley.
Real name?
God.
Sorry.
Backlund then gets in the ring and reads off scores of various categories, and then finally he gives it a draw. So it's 1.5 to 1.5. So
also, did you happen to notice he got his verbiage in there? He loves to say the plebeians.
Yeah.
He got that in there.
Yeah, the crowd cheered him until he called them plebeians, and then they turned on him. But Nash walks over to tell JB to announce that they're going to overtime. Both men go from pinfall to pinfall. Finally, Shelley gets a pin on Starr for the win. Uncle Dave gave this 2 stars. I gave it 2.5. I was thoroughly entertained, but it was still average. What say you?
I gave it 3. I really like this.
Yeah.
And also, watching this back, not that I ever... okay, maybe I forgot, but I guess I forgot just how good Alex Shelley is.
Oh, yeah. I loved Alex Shelley, especially during this time. He was like... I didn't care about him when he was the baby bear, because who the hell could have? But
well, to be fair,
right
he was just still somewhat of a jobber.
Yeah. Well, during this was great, and then when he got hooked up with Chris Sabin, that was even better. So, good stuff. But Senshi, Sanjay Dutt, and Jay Lethal now come down to celebrate with Shelley. Nash tries to shake Austin Starr's hand, and Starr slaps it away, shouting at Nash before Big Kev shoves him down. Austin grabs a microphone and says that he didn't come here to TNA to goof around and help resurrect Kevin Nash's career. He tells Senshi that he's the only one in the ring that he actually respects, and he tells Senshi to come with him. Senshi doesn't go.
How does he say it, by the way?
Yeah. I like he tells me, like, come on.
Skip over that, by the way, because here's the essence of his whole thing.
Yeah, like he's like, all right, come on, let's go, Senshi. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got to speak in Warrior. And he's like, come on, Senshi, let's go. Like, oh my gosh. So stupid, but funny. I loved it. But he won't go with him, so Starr slaps him, and they get into a brawl. Starr then shoves Somali and Joe, the big fat oily guy.
Real name?
God. And that's on his driver's license, man. You got to say it. And then he pie faces Bob Backlund before Backlund jumps him, locking in the crossface chicken wing. Good payoff, man. That's what we all paid to see.
Did you catch, by the way, that Mike Tenay geeked harder for the chicken wing than anybody in history?
Yeah, he hit the damn roof. Like, for God's sake. He freaked out like how Don West freaked out over AJ Styles hitting the Pele.
Yep. Which
is, if nobody's heard Don West call the Pele, you're missing out, man. You got to go check it out.
I'm not. I love the move. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I can sit here and do it. But and I hate saying this because I love AJ Styles, but what's so spectacular about that move where you get that amped about it?
You know what I mean? Remember when he hit a springboard Pele on Abyss and beat him that way?
I do.
Don West must have just lost his damn mind. He's like, oh my God, he beat him with it. Ah!
There was a ghost. There's ectoplasm. Did you see the ghost? It ran through here. It slimed me.
Wow.
Anyway.
The visual you just painted there.
Oh, man. Anyway, moving on. Play-up package for the next match showcases James Storm's heel turn, where he smashed a beer bottle into Chris Harris's right eye, nearly blinding him. That was the one thing, they kept that damn eye patch on Chris Harris for a while.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I guess it's realistic, whatever, but it's just I felt bad for the guy having to wrestle with a damn eye patch on all the time. I think he's come out since then and said, yeah, it freaking sucked. I
didn't even think about that aspect.
Yeah, right. Your depth perception's all effed up.
I honestly, to this day, wow, I kind of, no pun intended, my eyes are just opened. I never thought about it, how it has to be wrestling with an eye patch. Like Rey Mysterio doing the whole thing where Seth took his eye in his mask. Never dawned on me.
The only thing with that one I'll give, it's a little easier for Ray is because I think he did the black mesh where you can't see.
Yeah, I didn't think about that too. You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I actually had a Michael Myers mask that was like that. The over the eye sockets was like black mesh where I could see out, but nobody could see my eyes. But the next match was Cowboy James Storm with Gail Kim in his corner taking on Petey Williams. It went 6 minutes, 41 seconds. Look, I'm just going to start off by saying I don't know why this had to be on pay-per-view. This should have been on Impact. In the end, James Storm rolls Petey up after reversing the Canadian Destroyer, and he grabs some ropes to pin Petey for the win. Uncle Dave gives it 2.25 stars. I give it 2. It was meh. What say you?
I gave it 2. Again, meh.
Should have been on Impact, right? I just like this whole
I'm
thing.
sure it was, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They just played the replay. Well, after the match, and the whole thing about this is like Gail Kim's trying to decide, do I want to be with Chris Harris? Do I want to be with James Storm? Because, she was with AMW, and she has to make a decision, and she's not liking how James Storm is being a jerk. So after the match, Gail Kim backs up Petey Williams in telling the referee that James cheated, but Storm jumps Petey, beating him down. He then backs Gail into the corner and snatches handcuffs that she had on her before handcuffing Petey to the corner. James then grabs a beer bottle, but Gail stops him from hitting Petey. James then grabs her and she slaps him, so he chokes her to her knees. Gail then low blows James and beats on him. Gail threatens to hit James Storm with his own beer bottle before Jackie Moore, a.k.a. Jacqueline, runs to the ring and jumps on Gail. James Storm and Jackie Moore then hit the death sentence on Gail before leaving. TNA had a lot of man-on-woman violence back in the day.
I thought Spike TV had an outlaw against that.
It wasn't until Robert Roode. Remember that? Because he was doing the whole thing with
right.
Tracy Brooks. Yeah. This was...
man-on-woman violence and no naked Ric Flair.
Yeah, right. Tell him to quit bleeding and get naked. But you think that was bad, man. Wait until this next segment. Here we go. We get a video package to remind us that BG and Kip James, the Voodoo Kin Mafia, which, Voodoo Kin Mafia is VKM for Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Isn't that original, Greg?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
I always wonder why they were the Voodoo Kin anything, because what's so voodoo about these two? And then they did introduce Roxy, and it made some sense, but still, no.
Yeah, this whole thing sucked, just all of it. It didn't make any sense. It was clearly
Voodoo Kin, by the way. Doesn't that mean their fathers were voodoo people? I
don't know, and they're mafia, kins? So yeah, I don't know. This is weird, but anyway. They had showed up outside of WWE headquarters and yelled things at them. Ooh. They showed up outside of a Raw.
They made some noise, dude.
Yeah. I will say I laughed when they couldn't even get a bullhorn, by the way. They were yelling into like a traffic cone. But I did laugh when BG James was like, come out with your pants up. He's like, leave the fat, naked, oily guy in the building.
Or want to talk.
Yeah, right. But they showed up outside of a Raw and hung out with some fans. Yay. And then they cosplayed as Triple H.
Just so original.
Right. Oh, well, yeah. And then they cosplayed as Triple H and Shawn Michaels on an episode of Impact. BG then challenged DX to show up in TNA and face them for $1 million for charity. Yeah, because that was going to happen. How would that have benefited WWE in any way?
I don't know.
Yeah, they made it.
Publicity for Impact. That's
Well, yeah, it's for Impact, but what did WWE get out of it? Especially when they were going to have this gigantic.
Well, they got the 12 people that watch Impact on the regular. No one about them.
Right. Oh man, it couldn't have done without them. That's I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I love TNA. All right, but let's be realistic about it. Yeah. Oh, good lord. But this is like.
Don't you let you agreed.
This is like somebody saying it's like, hey, all right, let me go number 2 in your bathroom, and you're like, no, and they're like, whatever, your loss. What do I get out of this deal?
The day I let that happen, It's like, I'm a made man.
Yeah, right. Anyway, VKM now comes out, and BG says that they're declaring victory over the WWE and Vince McMahon. Yeah, because if they completely ignore you, you win. That's how it works, Greg.
I'm going to also go on a limb and say they didn't even know any of this was going on.
Yeah, right. Well, at this time they might have, but I had that story before. Remember, I told you about they actually, when they reformed DX, Vince McMahon said he wanted to bring these guys in to join them, and then they found out they'd been trashing them all summer, and they were like, yeah, never mind. So there you go. But
it was Dixie. She made us do it. Take me back.
Yeah, right. And they did years later. While trashing the WWE, BG takes time to tell Paul Levesque, quote, "Nobody likes to see one of our boys go down. Heal your wheel, bro."
Yeah.
Like, I hate you, but I hope you get well soon.
Well, to be fair, I say the same thing whenever a guy like Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. I mean, I don't like him because he kicks the crap out of us, but I don't want to see him hurt. So, it makes sense.
Yeah, but they made this seem like it was
line.
Personal. I don't know. I get it. It's just, it made it seem like it was personal. But BG then makes a reference to when Kevin Federline, who he calls Mr. Spears, beat John Cena on national TV.
Good God.
Yeah. And when the Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell impersonators, quote unquote, wrestled on Raw, which, by the way, drew a big TNA chant from the crowd. Do you remember that? And they had the fudgy whale cake at ringside. Like, obviously it kicked off the Battle of the Billionaires feud later on. It was so stupid. BG then craps on WWE some more, and then Christy Hemme runs out to the ring with a mic. This when it starts getting really good, Greg. Christy gets all choked up asking...
Being very loose, folks.
Yeah. Christy gets all choked up and says, "What about Joni Lauer? Is it just because she's a woman in a man's business?" My God. She then goes on to rant about how the women in TNA, quote, aren't disposable. She does a horrible acting job and says that she may lose her job over this, but it's worth it. In what way? She doesn't explain in what way it's worth it.
Isn't she about to form the Rock and Rave connection? Just the kickoff to it. Or join them?
Infection. Greg.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. All right.
Look, we're going to have to leave that alone. It didn't age well.
Yeah.
It sucks, but.
Yeah, I know. But anyway.
I guess you can still say when you're making fun of Vance Archer, who wants to get
ready to get infected tonight. That was a great catchphrase, man.
Yeah. I watched 1,000 great movies.
BG says that there is plenty of room for everybody, and he tries to be nice, but Kip grabs a mic, and he says, "Listen here, slut." Good Lord. And then he says that Christy needs to go back to the strip club she got fired from, and then he says, quote, "Girls are good for only two things." Good Lord. And then BG grabs the mic from him, and Christy says that women are only good for two things: their bodies and putting men back in line. Then she slaps Kip across the face, and BG holds Kip down while Christy leaves. This segment was so cringeworthy, and it sucked.
I feel like this was the end of the whole we'll call it a feud with DX. It just ended after this.
Yeah. Of all people, Christy Hemme is going to come out. What about Joni Lauer? Like, shut up. Just shut up. Bad.
She would debut in Impact a couple years later, I think.
Yeah, until they found out she was doing porn when she told them she wasn't doing porn, and they fired her. That, according to Bruce Pritchard, by the way, they said they were like, "Okay, you're not doing porn, right?" "Oh, no, I'm not doing." "Okay." And then she's
anymore.
Yeah, she's like, "Well, define doing."
Like, am I making it as I'm doing this? No.
Did I do a video like a week ago? Sure. Am I doing one next week? Perhaps. Anyway, backstage.
Wasn't that not her fault? Wasn't that like stolen with Waltman? Didn't someone steal that tape?
I think they profited off of it. Like both of them did. So I don't think it was stolen. Yeah, that was her like breaking into the business, quote unquote. I don't know a better way to word that.
Oh, and again, you're being loose with words again. Okay, cool.
Wow, and you said that. So anyway, backstage, Jeremy Borash is standing by with Team 3D. Brother Ray says that them versus LAX is old school versus new school, and while they're not used to having Brother Runt at ringside, LAX has never not had Konnan with them. Brother Ray says that they want to be the NWA Tag Team Champions, and they will be tonight. After they walk away, Sting walks up and asks JB if he's seen Abyss. When Borash says no, Sting walks away. Now there's this. It's LAX, the Latin American Exchange, Homicide, and Hernandez defending the NWA World Tag Team titles against Team 3D, Brother Ray, and Brother Devon. This one went just over 10.5 minutes.
Why did you call him Brother Devon?
I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
You turned him into a Frenchman, Devon.
Devon. Oh. Yeah, well, it's like when Steve Urkel steps into that one machine, he comes out as Stefan. You know?
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, he's not. He's bald and buff now, and he's wearing like normal people clothes. He's not in the tie dye and the suspenders anymore. So I guess it works. I don't know. Anyway, Brother Ray nearly makes me barf when Homicide spits his gum at him. Ray picks it up, chews it, and then spits it back at Homicide.
Dude, that's two New Yorkers, man. They're hardcore, bro.
Bro, we're swapping spit, bro. But not in a gay way. I mean, it's fine if it is, but it's not gay.
Oh my God.
But Brother Ray gets busted open between his eyes. Just when it looks like Team 3D are about to win, Brother Runt comes out in a backwards Santa suit that he wore weeks ago on Impact.
Because we needed this.
Oh, yeah. He's drinking out of a liquor bottle, and then he gets up on the top rope and dives off onto Homicide, drawing the DQ. Uncle Dave gave it 3/4 of a star. I gave it 2.5. I thought the match was at least average between these guys before the end. What say you?
Wow. It's
been
a while since we reviewed a pay-per-view, and I said this late into the review, but worst match of the card right here. 1 star.
Wow.
It's been a while. Like, think about it. We usually kick it off with, like, one of the first 3 matches is the worst match of the card. Nope.
They would go on to have much better matches. So, but this, man, freaking, why was Runt there? Why, like, what the hell was going on with him?
Because he just got released from WWE and they capitalized off that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, like, why was he here in this match? Why was he acting drunk? What the hell? I don't know.
I feel like there was a reason for that. I think that he was, like, falling off a wagon and they were trying to get him to not, or something. I forget.
Yeah.
TNA, so it's stupid, but
yeah,
there was a reason.
Well, after the match, Brother Ray grabs Runt and whips him outside of the ring, and that's the end. Backstage, Jeremy Borash is standing by with Samoa Joe. Joe says that he and Kurt Angle
not to be confused with Samoan Joe.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's easy to get them mixed up, Greg. They look very similar. Joe says that when he and Kurt Angle started their feud, it was about who was the best in the world, but now it's personal. He says that for 30 minutes, he will hurt Kurt Angle because Kurt is in the way of him winning the NWA World title. So now we got...
It just sounded so weird, by the way, hearing him say the NWA World title.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's a mashup of multiple things here.
Ring of Honor guy, WWE guy, the NWA title in TNA. Did I get all that?
Yeah, something like that.
Cool.
This one's Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle in a 30-minute Iron Man match where the winner becomes the #1 contender for the NWA title. Because, we already had one match with multiple pinfalls in it earlier in the card. Why not make it 2? But this one with 30 minutes.
Compare these 2 matches, though.
I know, but still. I liked Kurt Angle's TNA themes, but why did he go with an instrumental of Lunatic Fringe?
Because John Cena's cousin hadn't been able to record it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just like that intro, you hear it and you're like, huh. It's like, oh, it's Lunatic Fringe. Like,
yeah, but you know why? You don't know why?
No.
I forget the name of that wrestling movie, but this was the theme of that wrestling movie. So it has ties to actual wrestling. That's why Angle used it. I forget the name of it, though. Oh, and I know. You know how I know? Because Mike Goldberg said it on one of Randy Couture's entrances. He used the same song, except, the actual song. So it's a wrestling thing. And Randy Couture was a Greco wrestler, and Kurt Angle obviously is the greatest wrestler ever lived. So there's a reason. I just don't know the specific one off the top of my head. But it's a song of a movie.
Vision Quest? Maybe?
Is that a wrestling movie?
Know. That's the first thing that comes up on Google when I type it in. So, yeah, it was in the movie Vision Quest. Okay. Yeah, it's a wrestling movie.
Yeah, okay, that's why. That's how it all ties together.
Okay.
I learned that from Mike Goldberg, who I'm glad the UFC got rid of and replaced with John Haney, because that was brilliant. Anyways, that's a different rant for a different time.
And you and I disagree. I like John Anik. Not as much as Mike Goldberg, but I like John Anik. I don't know. Something about it. I got a decent voice, but
he knows stuff. I'll give him that. He doesn't phone it in.
He knows things.
I don't feel it like I do when Goldberg's calling it, you know?
Oh, well,
it's I don't know what a good comparison is, but like when Jim Ross is calling a wrestling match, you feel it. Like, old Jim Ross, not this current one, who, by the way, is cancer-free as it's supporting, which I'm happy about.
Awesome.
It's like, back in the day, he made you feel it. I guess I could use Michael Cole. It's like, you really don't feel it with him. Granted, Michael's done a lot better since being with Pat McAfee. But anyways, I digress.
I think he's having fun now. But I like just before the 17-minute mark, Samoa Joe goes up 1-0 when Kurt taps to the Coquina clutch. At the 14-minute mark, Angle ties it up 1-1 when Joe taps to the ankle lock. Just before the 11-minute mark, by the way, I'm counting backwards with a timer if anybody hasn't picked up on that. Just before the 11-minute mark, Angle goes up 2-1 when Joe taps to the ankle lock. Joe ties it up with a pinfall off the Muscle Buster. Angle now goes up 3-2 with a rolling pin. Joe tries everything he can, and he even locks in an ankle lock, but Angle is saved by the bell, winning the match. Uncle Dave gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it 4. What say you?
Gave it 4. Best match of the card.
Oh yeah,
without
a fantastic match. Without question. That's right.
This is the one I think now in the archives. I thought was better than their Genesis match.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely was. And is it this year where they go on to have the lockdown match?
No, I think that's 8.
Oh, okay.
Where
Kurt Angle dresses like an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
8 or 9.
They always had really good matches against each other. So, but this was damn good. But yeah, so that was that. We're moving on to our main event here. But before we do, we're going to take our second to last break. When we come back, we're going to get into the pre-match interviews and the main event.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan McCarthy and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Mighty 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back. It is almost main event time. Jeremy Borash is backstage with Sting while a strobe light's going. They always like to have weird, lighting effects for interviews in TNA. It was kind of different, so I didn't mind. JD says that Sting can't trust Abyss anymore, and Sting says that tonight he will separate the devil puppeteer from Abyss's strings. Abyss and James Mitchell now walk up, and Mitchell says that Sting, Abyss, and him aren't all that different, He says that since Sting is familiar with the end times, tonight will be his end times. Sting grabs Mitchell and says tonight Mitchell dances with the devil in hell because there isn't enough room up here for him anymore. After Sting walks away, Mitchell tells Abyss, quote, "You better end it tonight." When Christian Cage comes out for the match first with Tomko, Jim Cornette tells Tomko that he has to go in a shark cage, but it's a cage, a human-sized cage at ringside that's painted red. But now we go to the main event. It is Abyss with James Mitchell in his corner defending the NWA World's Heavyweight title in a three-way match against Christian Cage with Tomko and Sting. This one went 13 minutes, 6 seconds. At one point, Sting gets too close to the cage and Tomko chokes him through it. This distracts the ref, and Christian Cage doesn't get pinned off of a black hole slam. Later, Christian kicks Abyss in the nards. Sting hits the Scorpion Death Drop on him and eliminates the champion first. Sting puts out a hand to shake, but Abyss goozles him, and Abyss ignores Mitchell's demands and chokeslam Sting, letting him go. Later, Sting locks a Scorpion Death Lock in on Christian, and James Mitchell knocks out the cage key holder, and then he unlocks Tomko. Mitchell distracts the ref so that Tomko can take out Sting, but that doesn't end it. Later, Sting takes Tomko out, and then Abyss runs out to beat up Tomko and locks him back in the cage. Christian misses a belt shot. Sting hits the Unprettier on him, but Cage kicks out. Finally, the ref gets bumped. Mitchell hits Sting. Sting knocks him down, and Abyss watches Sting lock in the Scorpion Death Lock on Mitchell. And then Christian says something to Abyss, and Abyss wraps his chain around his fist and punches Sting in the back of the head with it. Christian then hits a frog splash on Sting to win the NWA title. Uncle Dave gave it 3 1/4 stars. I gave it 3.5, even with all that BS going on. What say you?
I was tempted to give it 2, but I feel like at the end it was really good, but so 3.
What do you think of the 1 month reign of Abyss?
I think it was 2 months, actually.
Two months.
I thought it was too short.
Yeah. I feel
For
like the title
he would never be a champion again.
No, he wouldn't.
And if he was ever the Legends champ or whatever the hell it is, I don't count that. So.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking world title. I think he was a tag champ with in Decay.
Yeah, I think he was. I think TK was champs and he was allowed to defend it, if I'm right, like the Freebird rule. But whatever, it counts.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought he was. I liked the act of Abyss and James Mitchell together. I honestly didn't see this one coming, so that was something.
It made the most sense.
Yeah, and Christian wins the title here, so he's going to defend it against Kurt Angle at the next show. And without looking at it off the top of my head, I was like, oh man, is Christian going to lose it in a month? But not going to spoil anything if he did or not just yet.
I'm actually shocked he hasn't been AEW champ yet.
Oh, Christian? Yeah. Well, we got a lot of great stuff still to come in 2007 here. Just to wrap this up, James Mitchell smiles as Abyss looks all conflicted. He still doesn't know what's going on while the show comes to a close. Wasn't this Christian was keeping his secret and wasn't? I think that was it, wasn't it?
Was it this?
I'm pretty sure
it's about to come out. I know it's about to come out, and Judas Messias is about to debut, right? I think.
Yeah. Wasn't it that Abyss killed his father or something? I don't even remember.
No. Well, someone did, and then Abyss grabbed the gun and got his prints all over it. I think his mother killed father, right? And then Abyss got the gun and made it look like he did it or something like that.
Yeah, some big, long, convoluted whatever.
Yeah, they talk about it in a diner or something. It's a horrible thing. It's on YouTube. Anyone wants to see it. James Mitchell's explaining it in a diner.
Yeah. So like I said,
if you can't tell by the way from us breaking it down, it's horrible. So don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as the AJ Styles thing with Oh, who's the?
I know her name
olive
was
oil
Claire.
lady?
That's all I know.
Claire, yeah.
Claire
Okay.
Huxtable.
Oh, for God's sake.
I can't think of any other Claires.
Yeah. Not that that was something we all need to remember, but yeah, Claire Lynch.
Wasn't she olive oil in the park or something like that? That's where they found her. I
Yeah.
think they said.
That's why they killed the storyline, because people were recognizing her in the park, and like I think they told her. I think they told her it was like you need to pick one or the other because one's interfering with the other, so she dropped the TNA gig.
She might have made the right choice.
Yeah. Good Lord. It's not like she had a future in wrestling. All right, we'll just say that.
You want to
But
be
all right.
perceived as I don't want to use the wrong word here, but someone who sleeps around, or do you want to be a child character? So there you go.
Yeah, right. It's like, I saw you on Impact last week. Shut up. No, you didn't. Somebody who looks exactly like me.
My twin sister,
Yeah.
Blair Lynch.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's the end of this show. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, it's final ratings time, and we're going to tell you what's to come in the following weeks here on the podcast right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot
The
that.
same mother and father.
Your room was
We shared the room.
shared a room.
We shared a room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah,
from
we go
somewhere.
way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. I nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back. It is final ratings time. Internet Movie Database gave this 7.3 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 6.19 out of 10. I actually gave it 8 out of 10 for a B. I liked it. What say you?
I'm right there with you. I gave it a B. I liked it.
Yeah.
Could have done without
Good
that
show.
stupid tag match, but
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like the James Storm, Petey Williams thing should have been on Impact, but well,
you keep saying that.
horrible.
But you failed to remember it was. You had to word that better. Maybe it should have stayed on Impact.
Yeah. They shouldn't. It should have been done for the first time on Impact, not done at the pay-per-view. That's what I mean. But yeah, so that wraps it up for Final Resolution. Looking through our schedule here, because like I said, we're gonna go through 2007 as much as we can. So next month, on February 9th, actually, is going to be our next one. We're going to cover TNA Against All Odds 2007. It's 15-year anniversary.
Now, off the top of my head, I don't even remember how that shit was good or bad or not. So that should be interesting to watch back.
Yeah, all I know for a fact is that Christian Cage takes on Kurt Angle in the main event for the NWA title. Other than that, I don't know anything else. So that's coming up. But we're going to try to cover all the shows if we possibly can. I'm going to try to find a way to squeeze them in. But next week here on the podcast, it is a very recent show. It's only 5 years old. We're going to go back on January 12th. We're going to go back to 2017 for the WWE Royal Rumble 2017. Remember the Rumble. That one, like I said, I don't remember too much off the top of my head. I'm anxious to watch it back. Kind of cool because it's been 5 years. I'm like, man, what the hell happened at that show?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I don't remember like a whole lot that far back. It had Styles and Cena on there for the WWE title. So that right there is going to be good. Neville and Rich Swann, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Charlotte Flair and Bayley. Man, okay, now I'm excited to watch the show. So, especially
it's one of the things notable to me is Jerry Lawler spoils the winner of it in it. Talk about it.
Really?
It's funny. It's very funny.
Okay. All right. That's next week. Thanks for joining me today, Greg. And everybody at home, Happy New Year. Thanks for sticking around with us. We will see you next week. Exactly. Stay that way. We'll see you all next week, right here, when we cover WWE Royal Rumble 2017. Remember the Rumble.